Hello, and this is Voz from Ace5 Studios doing a tutorial for cgtutplus.com. Today we're going to be discussing traffic lights in Cinema 4D, what they're used for, and how to use them efficiently. Here's a quick tip. Now, as you can see, I have a scene setup, basic stuff, null object, objects under it. Here we have the editor viewport, here I have a render region to simulate what it looks like in the rendered output. Now, traffic lights, first off, what are they? Traffic lights were around way before layers. They were here to let you hide and show objects both in the final render and while you're working. Now, also, let's go. So, traffic lights is little two dots on the side of every object in your object manager. If you click on the top one and it'll go first green and then you click to make it red. The objects will hide from your viewport but will stay in your rendered region. So for example, if I want to hide the sphere, I double click on this little dot, the top one, and it won't be in the editor, but it will be in the render. Similarly, if I want something to be in the editor, but not the renderer, I double click on the one below it, and the sphere disappears from the rendered output. Now, these objects, they obtain their information from their parent. So if they are gray, the information is obtained from the parent. So if I hide the objects in viewport, they will disappear, but if I want to just see the sphere, you click this little green, this dot here, make it green, and there you go. That's why they're green, so you can hide everything and then just show the stuff that you're working on. This is very useful if you are working, for example, on cars or just complex models and you don't need everything else around it, so you just hide the top null object and then you just enable the stuff you're actually working on. Obviously it will work if you have another sphere and you say move it below and you put it as a child of this sphere, and you make it gray, it will obtain the information from the top sphere. So if you disable it, they will both disappear. If you make this one green, then it will be appeared, but the top one won't. If you make it red, the bottom one still will appear because its own traffic light overrides all previous traffic lights. Okay, now the actual quick tips. That's just an explanation of what they are. The quick tips are following. If you hold down the Alt key when you press them, it will change both traffic lights to the next sequence. So you can make them both green, both red, and they disappear from both the viewport and the rendered output. Holding the Control key will apply that setting to all the children of the object that you're clicking on. So you see they changed it. Holding Control and Alt will change both traffic lights of all the objects that are in the hierarchy that you're clicking on. Holding the Shift key will cycle them backwards. So if usually it goes, if you click without the Shift key, it goes green, then red, then default. If you hold the Shift key, it goes red, then green, then default. Little quick time savers, which can help if you're working with this stuff a lot. Especially when you have really big, complex scenes, this really helps. As I said, like cars, planes, machinery, anything where you need to hide lots of objects. It's like kind of, like Control H key in other applications where you just hide selections. But here they're still, available. Note though, if you hide something from viewport, as in like from rendered output, like for example, if I hide this cube, from the output, its effect will be not considered at all. Like for example, if I add a light and I add shadows to this light, if I apply the cube, you can see it's casting shadows. If you get rid of the cube, it's not casting shadows. Same thing goes for reflections. If you add reflections to the sphere, cube, you can see it in a reflection, and then when you get rid of it, it will not be in a reflection. Why I say this, because sometimes you want objects to reflect, but you don't want the camera to see them. This is not the way to do it. If you want to do that, you add a compositing tag, just here Cinema 4D compositing tag, and you go scene by camera. This way, shadows and reflection stays, but the object itself becomes invisible. Yes, I think that's pretty much covers what the traffic lights do. The quick tip is obviously the Control, Shift, Alt keys. Yes, I believe that is pretty much it. Okay, I'll see you later.